All right, welcome back everyone to the Ham and Turkey. We got two guests on today. I didn't lie to y'all. I told you guys we would have some. I will have more of my friends on. So I got two of my friends. I got Chester. Everyone knows Chester from the Jordan and LeBron Bay. But today we got my boy Slim God Cinco. What's good, Brody?
What's good, bro?
You know he's coming. He's coming to offer his opinion too. He has a pretty profound basketball opinion. So we needed him on to balance me out. Everyone says I'm Skip.
Skip.
So we'll say Chester's Uncle Shay.
Nah. Shay's crazy.
But they call me Skip Daniel. So I want y'all to be the judge, and we're gonna hop right into this. So the topic today is LeBron's first year in LA. And I just want to discuss it from each angle. I want to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're gonna start. We'll start. We discussed off where we're gonna start. So we'll start from the regular season, the start of the regular season. So obviously we'll just go just a little bit. Just give you a snapshot. LeBron, he signs with LA. You know, he leaves Cleveland a second time, and he's going to LA to try to win a championship. We hope, or to start his new career in acting. So we're going to start with Tez. Tez, what did you think about when he first signed with L.A.?
I kind of felt like it was kind of weird. Like, it didn't make sense. You know, like, he's bigger than basketball. Like,
absolutely.
That's an obvious thing. Like, for him to sign with them, I feel like it literally didn't make sense for him. Like, I feel like his brand is not going to be any bigger because he's with LA. I mean, obviously, yes, money wise, it's definitely going to be bigger. It's a bigger market over there.
Yeah.
But I feel like personally, he's not that type of person that's like, oh, well, I'm gonna get a bigger deal doing it over here.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's him. You know, I feel like he don't move that way.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like it was weird. You know, you're following a whole legacy of superstars, as they say, but it's like you're toward the end of your career.
Yeah.
So what are we going to compare his 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, however many years it is that he stays there, versus Kobe, Magic, Kareem's 10 years there? Like, are we really going to compare that? Like, that's not really even worth it. But
and to your point, it makes you wonder, like, what is the real reason he's going to LA? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? You know what I'm saying? Is
he trying to show that he can go anywhere, pull players from anywhere, and do it? Like, is that the goal, to show that I literally can do it anywhere? Because I mean, he has proven that he kind of can do it anywhere. He might not be able to bring it home fully anywhere, but he can get there
absolutely
with anybody.
Chester, what did you think about
maybe not them
when he went to LA? First reaction. We was actually together when he first went.
I knew it wasn't about basketball. It wasn't the number one choice on his resume for that move.
And that's what I'm getting at.
So that was just it. That was my only reaction. It wasn't about basketball. I wasn't expecting anything great. Yeah, and that's that.
And that's actually a valid point, because if you really think about it, like, why would you, like, if you really wanted to keep winning, why would you go from the Eastern Conference to the Western Conference and make it tougher on yourself? You already weren't beating Golden State, and so now you're going to have to play them in the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah.
Like, why would
finals?
Like, yeah,
we talk shit first round.
Yeah, first round. You would have played the Warriors. Like
4 games.
Exactly.
Bye.
So what were you trying to prove to us as fans? Like, now, before I get into my thing, I actually like LeBron James. He is one of my favorite players. And I will start this segment off by saying the only issue, and I want to make this very clear, the only issue that I have with LeBron is that he does entirely too much. He tries to coach the team, run the team, control everything on the floor, which I have no problem with on the floor. However, when you try to control, like, one of the things that I heard someone say to me is, like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you can't control every single thing, and that's my only issue. People try to advocate for him because he is great. He's in my opinion, he's the second greatest player ever. You can't literally control every aspect of the franchise and playing on the court. So that's my only issue. What, you got something to say, Ted? What's up?
No, I could piggyback off of that a little bit. Like, that's true. You can't control every aspect of the game. You got a bunch of young players that are probably mad excited for playing with you, playing in LA, like the scene, everything for them at the first, beginning and moments is kind of just like, wow, overwhelming. Young players, Kuzma, Ingram, and then you got, the couple bench players.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, if you are going to do that, I feel like absolute power can rule if you understand that you have to have control over you as well.
Absolutely.
I
agree.
Meaning there can't be plays where Kuzma's shoving you into a guy to go contest the shot.
Yeah.
That to me was absurd.
Yeah.
Like how were you not already moving toward that?
Absolutely.
Like that's just that's defensive principles.
Yeah.
So that was my beef. That was one of my beefs, I should say.
Yeah.
With him coaching and trying to run the team and not also taking in, all right, I'm telling you to do this, so let me make sure I show you how to do it too.
Yeah.
And that was my riff. But
yeah. And that's a great point, actually. And when we progress to this, I will readdress that point. So the Lakers in the offseason, before the first game of the season against Portland, they signed Lance, they signed Beasley, Rondo, and they signed a bunch of like journeyman guys, like guys that can play, but they're not really like key contributors on a team. You want to make a case for Rondo, okay? Because I like Rondo, that's my favorite point guard. So that was the only really key contributor that they signed. So I think the starting roster was, and then they had Lonzo. I'm sorry, don't let me forget Lonzo. They had Lonzo. I think Lonzo started, Kuzma started, Ingram started, obviously LeBron, and then JaVale McGee.
I would say I like that. I think was the biggest signing, but
JaVale McGee.
Yeah,
you know what? To that point, he's only
oddly enough too.
Only 3 players on their team have a plus minus. Oh, like that's positive. He was one of them. Him, LeBron, and it was one more. It was like Zigic. It's like somebody off the bench who didn't really play that many minutes. But he was one of the few people who had a positive plus minus on their team. So it makes perfect sense. So first game of the season, we started the first game of the season. First game of the season, they play Portland. Portland's a very tough team. They're playing OKC right now. It's a great series. They go down to the wire with Portland, and if I'm not mistaken, they lost that game. But I mean, I think we watched that game together at Sweet's house.
Yeah.
And we was like, we were encouraged by what they were doing. They were running. LeBron was doing this thing. The defense kind of wasn't there yet, but obviously it's the first game. But it was still. We were looking and we were like, yeah, this could work. What did you think, Cesar?
I was actually over. I don't even know what to say. It was just good to see it. It wasn't a bad thing to see him in the Laker uniform, the way that he was running. He didn't look like he was in year 16. Yeah. It looked like like the what they call the kids. It looked like they grew. Yeah. And it looked good. It looked like a good product. It looked like it was about basketball for a little bit.
Yeah. And what you think about it?
The
first game against Portland that day.
I agree. It looked like it's as if if this is the way we're going to see them play for 82 games, possibly, you got a playoff contender, possibly a championship contender team. Like Portland definitely proven themselves to be good, obviously through 82 games to make it to the playoffs. Yeah, they did have troubles, the past 2 years, past 2 times getting swept in the playoffs. Yeah, but I still feel like the team that they had together already had a nice cognitive where they played together well, especially with the 2 guards they got, McCollum and Lillard, and then their what you want to call them, their supporting cast is
they had Nurkic. I love Nurkic.
I personally don't think they should have broken that up.
Yeah,
I think that would have made them still the team that they could be, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
But that's the team that he played against, and I think that team is better than the current team they have, personally. I mean, maybe you can get them in Nez, but again, I think LeBron definitely, like I said, Lakers seemed like the team they were going to grow from there.
Yeah.
What Jordan said, the
seal.
This is the roof.
Yeah, I felt like that right there.
And to your point, they actually did grow. Like they, at one point in time, they were 4th in the West.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they were actually playing good defense, playing good offense. They were actually contending. They had some good wins. They were figuring it out. LeBron was still, doing LeBron stuff, shoving off play calls and all that stuff. But I want you guys to talk about. We'll start with Tez. Tez, I want you to talk about Luke Walton. I want each of you to tell me what you guys think about him before LeBron got there, and then now. Obviously, he's fired from the Lakers now. But I want you to tell me what you thought about Luke Walton before this season.
Ben felt like he shouldn't have been the coach. First of all, I don't know how he was picked coach. I don't know why. I don't think he did anything in the NBA to make him valid enough to be coaching the Showtime, to be Lakers prior to LeBron and during LeBron. Like, I feel like that was just...
He won a championship with Kobe as a coach. I'm just playing devil's advocate. He did do something. He's won 2 championships.
As an assistant coach.
As an assistant coach.
Both championships.
Both championships. But he was on that team, though. That's like assistant coaches, they get interviewed for jobs when you're a part of a system.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I understand the process. I get that part of it. Like, I get the business aspect. But as a basketball aspect of it, like, all right, who's the best candidate to coach players? Yeah. Who's the best that we're gonna get the best out of our players? Because that's the same thing you look for with your players. Like, who can I get the best out of?
Right.
I mean, you're not always just gonna say, all right, let me get the best talent. Let me get the best talent. Let me get the best talent. You're not gonna always have that. Sometimes you need a guy that's gonna just be out there rebounding. Yeah. You don't need everybody shooting just because they all can shoot. Because I mean, there's only one ball. So. Again, I feel like he wasn't the right coach. I feel like he's more so a college coach right now. Like, that's where he maybe should have started, got, his feet wet or so. I feel like this is a big stage for him. Huge. And I don't think he was ready for the limelight. I mean, look at Magic Johnson walking out. I think when you got a lot on your plate, and I feel like, not to say that he's he's Magic Johnson and his plate is as big, but I feel like what was he doing before this? Yeah. Assistant coach, okay. Now you're going to be the head coach. Now you are the head honcho. You're the guy that we're going to say, hey, why is this happening? So now how many years was it been? 3? 4 years?
3.
3 years? Okay. So, I think it was a wrong decision, personally.
What would you, Chester?
I think he was just overrated as a coach.
And that's fair. That's a fair point.
I think he, like the season that he won with the Warriors, that was
Steve Kerr, he had migraine, so he had to sit out because he was getting surgery, and
he
took
like
over the team.
11-0, something like that, right?
They went. Yeah, they
had 11-0, right? But then he had his own team for 3 full seasons, and he doesn't have a winning season under his belt.
Right.
As a head coach, it's not the same protocol. It's not even the same team, and it's like it seems like they have the talent. He's just not pulling it out. Like, I remember there was a point in time when Beasley was just get the ball and get buckets, and that's what they would need at the time. But he just would sit them. Yeah, it just didn't make sense.
And to that point right there, I watch Nick Wright sometimes. Sometimes I listen to. He's a LeBron lover too, but he's one of the biggest guys who says that, like, name me what Luke Walton does good. Like, if you're saying he's such a good coach, and if you're saying he's that good, what does he do good against another coach, against a Brad Stevens or a Greg Popovich? Like, what does he do? What is his strength? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it, like, I can't really say what his strength is. Not young player development. It's not substitutions, like you just said.
Oh,
it's not late game situations. It's not. I really can't. I can't defend him. You know what I mean? I just want other people's opinion though as to what they think about Luke Walton. It's like you said, it's easy to look good when you got Steph, Clay, and KD. Yeah, I'll look good coaching that team. Move the ball, play defense. That's pretty much it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can do that. I respect Steve Kerr more than I do Luke Walton because he does a better job of managing all those egos. And that's a big part of coaching. Even with Phil Jackson, Phil Jackson, he's a X's and O guy. What you got, Ted?
I do have a little argument, though, with the whole Steve Kerr coaching the Warriors thing. I feel like that's Mark Jackson's team minus KD. And that's just because, like, he had that same team just the year prior, and they was just knocking on the door. Yeah. Kind of just how KD left to the, same situation. I kind of feel like it doesn't really make sense, really, because, like, Mark Jackson was in a good position. I don't really know what the analytics are behind that, why he stopped coaching, why they didn't re-sign him to coach, or whatever the case may be, but I feel like we'd be watching Mark Jackson right now with this same virtual team. Because, I feel like he's the one that got them defensively sound like such.
They did.
Personally.
I feel that way, too, but I will give Steve Kerr some credit just for the way he handled Iggy. To take, an all-star caliber player and just tell him that, we going to give you the minutes, but you got to come off the bench. Yeah. And then that really does lead them to a championship with somebody when you can, like you said, mend egos and make it work for the team. I'll give him that.
Yeah. I will say, too, though, like, I give the players a lot of credit. Is I guess why I'm saying that more so, too, though, because, like, they're easily managed players. Yeah. Like, you look at KD in OKC. He wasn't a hostile player. You can point blame on Westbrook or however you want to call it with the team. But at the end of the day, he made a decision. He, chose what he chose. Yeah. he wasn't that, LeBron type player where, I'm going to be in the coach's face. Yeah. I'm not getting this, or I'm not getting that, or I don't like the way this is moving. And things going to start to change. Like, that's just not him. It's more so like, all right, what are we going to do? Okay, I'll go with that, and let's see how it works. Yeah. And he plays into it. Like, that. These guys all can play into a system. Yeah. Like, Iggy did that as an all-star. He was the main guy. Who else was going to score for them in Philly?
Right. Drew Holiday was still young, so he wasn't Drew Holiday then.
Who was who?
No, this is when he came out when he was in Denver, when they had just went into the playoffs and a nice little run. Yeah. So for him to take that, and for him to even offer that to him, because you can tell they never offered Melo the 6-man role in OKC just off of just because he made one statement. You still got to give him that conversation to let him know it's what's best for the team.
And see, these were the type of players that were on Golden State, and when Luke Walton was there, and so he was around all of this. And one would think that he would pick up stuff and he would learn all this stuff and how to manage the play. Especially, he had KD, so you would think maybe he would learn how to manage LeBron, learn how to manage these players, learn how to do all this stuff. But like you said, to your point, I didn't see it. Y'all didn't see it. I didn't see all that stuff that he should have been learning in Golden State. I didn't see that applied to the Lakers. And to your point, it's different being a assistant coach and then being a head coach, because you got to deal with way more. Mm-hmm. So as we progress, Luke Walton is the coach, obviously, and then we got LeBron James. We got Lonzo. Lonzo and Rondo were kind of switching from point guard to point guard. They were rotating that place. And then you had JaVale McGee, and then you had Kuzma. I thought, as we progressed through the season, I thought that Kuzma, early on, was looking like their best player. Obviously, guys, LeBron's their best player, obviously. Right. So we're going past LeBron. We get what LeBron averages 28 and 8. You know what I'm saying? He has the highest plus-minus. He leads them in every advanced statistical category. If he's on your team, he's going to lead you in every statistical category. So he's your best player. But it's the others. As Shaq says on Inside the NBA, it's not about the main guys. It's about the others. Mm-hmm. The others. Kuzma was playing good. JaVale McGee was playing great defense. And I feel like early on, they were playing great, but they just weren't able to put it all together consistently. Mm-hmm. On top of the fact that they weren't shooting great from the free throw line. They were the worst free throw shooting team in the NBA, or they were bottom third, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely. LeBron was shooting 66% from the line. Mm-hmm. Lonzo Ball is a point guard, and he shoots 41% from the free throw line. You know what I mean? And their average margin, they were losing by 2 points. So let's just do basic statistics. If
2 people make a free throw.
Exactly. If Lonzo hits, let's say 2 or 3 free throws in a game, maybe they win those games that they lose by 2 on.
But that's just a common rule. You taught that from when you can first shoot free throws. That's a game changer. That's why it's called free throws. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're going to lose games if you, as a team, combine. What were they shooting? 60 what?
They were in the bottom third of free throw. They're they were 29th in free throw percentage.
You can't win games.
So. You can't win games like that.
But that's another thing that's on Luke Walton. At some point in time, we got to spend the whole day. Forget practice. Forget running. Let's shoot free throws.
Yeah. Right. That's definitely.
And if you remember, they were losing games at the line. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because they couldn't shoot. You know what I mean? They at the end of the games, they were playing hack of Lakers, if you want to be honest. They were playing hack of Lakers. They were hacking Lonzo because he shooting 41%.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Well, see, that goes back to, that whole, what did Luke Walton learn, while being with, as an assistant.
Yeah.
It's hard to learn when you got guys that don't miss.
Naturally shoot 90%.
But you got 2 guys on your team that's doing 50, 40, 90. Steph and KD.
Right. So you don't have to
shoot high 88 on the free throw line.
So you got to think, what's the Warriors' practice? Yeah. All right, guys, run some drills.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
All right, guys, 5-on-5. Yeah. All right, sub. I mean, that's the most he should know how to sub.
Yeah.
Because I do give Steve credit for that. He definitely knows how to manage his players' minutes. Like you were saying again with having an all-star with Iggy coming off the bench, he still gets quality minutes. He gets the ball quality. He gets a quality of touches. Like he's pushing the ball, he's rebounding. He does a lot for them. So I definitely give credit to Steve Kerr for that. But Luke Walton, on the other hand, like you said, he didn't learn anything. Yeah. But
it seems like he didn't learn anything. Based on this young team, it seems like he didn't learn. Obviously, we ain't in the organization, so we can't say what he did and didn't learn. He's not applying it.
It hasn't produced on
exactly.
the
Yep,
court. And that's what matters at the end of the day is like what you're getting out of them, and he ain't getting nothing out of them.
Yeah,
and he's got the talent. Allegedly, like you said, there's got to come a point in time where it's not just all right. We're running little drills. It's like no, everyone find a basket and just shoot free throws.
Yeah.
Someone sit there and count your free throws, and we figure out, all right, what's our strengths, what's our weaknesses, who's not going to be in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because that changes the whole aspect of the game. Because now it's like, all right, it's the fourth quarter, but how many minutes have you been in the game already? So I got LeBron that's been in here 36 minutes, of course, because he's always going to be in here all day. Yeah. And he's struggling at the line.
66%, lowest of his career.
Yeah. Then we go and we got my point guard struggling at the line.
41%.
And then my 2 or 3 or whichever you want to call, Kuzma or, it's like, then my centers can't be in the game. So it's like now I'm playing small ball. Yeah. So, and now it goes back to the whole substitution thing. And it's like, it just was, like I said, from the start, it was just not a good fit. It should not have ever been.
Yeah. And then their second point guard, Rondo's shooting 65% from the line. I mean,
those are their 3 main ball handlers.
Exactly. Their 3 main ball handlers can't shoot free throws. And you got teams at the end of quarters, at the end of halves, just fouling them and making them miss free throws and getting back in games because of it. You know what I mean? Slowing down the game. And like I said, this is just all to provide context to what Luke Walton was working with. And like they said, what he should have been doing. It's easy for us to sit up here and say what he should have been doing. Right. But I mean, basic people who know basic basketball, they will see that if your team is not shooting free throws at a even adequate level, something has to be done about that. You know what I mean? You can't just let that rock.
Gotta address it.
And the thing is, though, despite all of that, I looked up the stuff this morning. They were still like 9th in field goal percentages. So they were still hitting shots and things like that. And they were playing like pretty good defense. They were in the top half in defense. You know what I mean? For the season, they're in the top half of defense. They're not a sorry team.
Well, you do got to allude to the slow pace that they were playing at, too, though. Like, they're not a fast-paced team. They weren't, scoring 120 points. I mean, they end up scoring a lot of points, actually.
They were averaging 111 points. That's how much they averaged for a season, 111.
I will say that's probably that on them streaks where they were losing a lot.
Yeah.
They were giving up a lot of points. But, I mean, they didn't, as a team, they weren't, I don't know, like, they weren't, I wouldn't say they were, like together as far as like their motions. It'd be like more so like just steals and stuff. Like they were getting like LeBron steals. Like it wasn't actual like playing defense, contesting good shots, like their opponents shooting low percentages against them. And then their scoring on the other hand, they were scoring inside. Like they can't shoot behind the 3-point line, and of course back to the free throws. So they're getting a lot of inside buckets.
They were.
That's why JaVale McGee got a higher plus minus than everybody else on the team because he's going 5 for 5, 6 for 6, 9 for 9, for most of the game, and that's easy money.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we've covered the middle of the season. So now we're not the middle of the season, but the first half, like a quarter of it. That's how they were playing at the quarter. And like I said, despite all of the bad free throw shooting, inadequate coaching, all that stuff, they still were 4th in the West. And they still were, at the time, they were towards the All-Star break, they were playing really good basketball. They played the Warriors, and they beat the Warriors like they stole something. You know what I mean? That's the game that changed the Lakers season. And that's when LeBron popped his groin. And he led us to believe that it wasn't that serious, but obviously, it was way worse than what we all initially thought. He thought he just tweaked it and he was going to come back in 2 weeks, but it wasn't like that. It was not like that. And that game against the Warriors, I thought at that time, LeBron James was my MVP. And, it was a 3-horse race or 4-horse. You got Harden, Giannis, PG, and I thought LeBron, just because of what he was doing with that team and those players. Because, you talk about all the other guys, Giannis, PG, and Harden. They all got better teams than LeBron. They all got better teams. Houston's better than the Lakers. OKC, obviously. And then the Bucks, they're the number 1 team in the NBA. So, I mean.
They got better teams.
Exactly. All their teams are way better than the Lakers. And for LeBron to have that team fourth in the toughest conference, the Western Conference, and then beat the Warriors like they stole something on Christmas Day, I didn't see how he couldn't be the MVP. What did you think about that?
I mean, mid-season, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, because he was doing LeBron-esque things.
Yeah.
But he was doing it on a team that ideally shouldn't be doing it, with his being as young as they were. But as stated, they were playing solid defense, getting steals, getting blocks. They were actually trying to play basketball. Mm-hmm. And to the groin pop, I mean, even finishing out that game, they still were playing basketball. They still were playing hard and killing game. Yeah, they didn't oh man, there goes LeBron. So yeah, but then after that, it just I don't know.
Yeah. What you think? Who was your MVP at that time, Chuck?
It was LeBron. It was just for what the teammates were. I depend a lot of my basketball knowledge based off who your teammates are, and for the teammates he had, nobody has ever really won except for Rondo and JaVale. The rest of the team, they were just they've never even probably. I want to say KCP.
Lance went to the conference final with Indiana, but
KCP so 6 players out of a 15-man roster is the only people that went to the playoffs. Yeah. But the people that was getting a big amount of minutes were the young players. Yeah. So it was just good to see. It was LeBron being LeBron. He was keeping his name intact.
It kind of reminded me of him in his first stint in Cleveland.
Yeah,
when he brought them to the finals a couple times and whatnot. That's what it reminded me of. Yeah. That hunger was he was just he just was hungry this first half of the season. I don't care what happened last year. I forget the Kyrie beef. Yeah. None of that matters to me. I'm here, and this is what it seemed like it was about basketball.
Yeah,
that's what I thought it was. It seemed good.
And once his groin popped, I honestly, because of the way they were playing, the way Lonzo and the way Ingram and Kuzma, and even JaVale, I thought that they could have kept the ship afloat. I thought they were going to at least
500.
Yeah, at least 500 something. At least keep themselves afloat, and at least wait till LeBron got back. Because let's just be real. We knew LeBron was going to rush himself back. We all knew he was going to rush himself back, and I knew that the injury was probably way worse. If it was just a strain, you could have worked that out and you could have played through it. They shoot players and athletes up with Toradol all the time. That's a steroid. Mm-hmm. And they'll come back in the game and they'll play like nothing happened. But if you sat out the whole game, that means there's something seriously wrong with you. You know what I mean? I think he probably tore his groin. You know what I mean? But he just don't want to tell people. He don't really tell anybody injuries. You remember last year, nobody knew he broke his hand. They were speculating that he broke his hand. Then the last game of the finals, he had the cast on. You know what I'm saying? So trying to garner sympathy from us. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just wanted to put in context the first half of the Lakers season and just show all the listeners how we got to the end of the Lakers season, because the beginning of the Lakers season and the end of the Lakers season are two totally the antithesis of each other. They are complete opposites. And so when we get to the next segment, because I got to time out for my sponsors, when we get to the next segment, we're going to discuss in the middle what LeBron did to kill the team chemistry, and then we're going to go to the back half of the season where he finally came back from his groin injury, and he decided to play through this injury or whatever you want to say, play hurt. That's a difference of opinion, matter of opinion, what he was actually doing. Playoff push, right. And he's going to go 0 dark 30 in the regular season like he always tries to do. So I got to pause so I can get my sponsors in. And so after that, we're going to discuss what he did in the middle of the season and then at the trade deadline. All right, welcome back to the Ham and Turkey. We have discussed LeBron's first half of his season. So now we're to the point now where he's hurt his groin and he's out for a myriad of games, and now he decides to come back. If I'm not mistaken, I think we say he came back against the Clippers. Right, he came back against the Clippers. I'm almost positive they lost that game. It was right there. I think they lost that game. However, we know now that LeBron was not healthy. He was playing hurt, playing with a bad groin. And if any athlete that's listened to this whoever hurt their groin or any lower extremity, you know that you cannot move laterally, you can't do any of that stuff. So the fact that he toughed it out, I respect it. However, at age 34, I just don't agree with doing stuff like that, especially when this is a guy who don't play defense. So, I mean, you just got to keep that type of context in your mind when you're thinking about what's going on. And in the midst of that, LeBron was doing stuff, as LeBron usually does. He was trying to force a trade for Anthony Davis to come to L.A. And it had been reported before by Chris Haynes of The Athletic and Google that Anthony Davis had already let the team, the Pelicans, know that he was not going to re-sign. Anthony Davis currently has 2 years, well, now 1, but he had 2 years left on his deal. And so he let them know that he was not going to re-sign with them. But what happened was they were winning a little bit at the beginning, and the management thought that it was just going to be all right because he's winning, he's laughing, he's joking, so we straight, we good. And that was never the case. So now we're nearing the trade deadline, and Magic, who was the GM at the time, or excuse me, the head of basketball operations, he was vigorously trying to force a trade. Along with Magic, it was Rob Pelinka, it was Clutch Sports and Rich Paul, and it was LeBron. They're all trying to force this trade. And I want Chester to regurgitate and repeat to me what he told me during text, what would happen if LeBron tried to do this.
I said it was going to backfire. Just because, I mean, that's just anywhere that you play. Like, everywhere that you go, you have pride. Like, we don't play in the league or nothing like that, but we have pride just in us. So you're talking about people that's at the highest level. Most of them never even been in a situation like this where they have the composure to just deal with it. They're not veterans. Yeah. So it was just going to backfire, and that's what it did.
That's exactly what happened. So it backfired right on them. My issue with the whole thing is that after the trade deadline came and went, he was like, well, I'm happy with the core players that we got. Obviously, that's a blatant lie because you just tried to trade the whole team, right? So how are you happy with the whole core?
I mean,
exactly.
I don't want to say he tried to trade the whole team. I'm pretty sure he definitely was willing to give up a lot of players.
Okay, before you say that, let me read this quote. Brian Windhorst put out an article 2 days ago. This is what he said 2 days ago, April 17th. What's today? Today's
it's the 19th, I believe. Hold on, let's double check.
Yeah, let's double check the date.
20th.
20. So he put out an article 3 days ago, and the title of the article was "The Handbook on Coaching LeBron." This is what he said, and the title. He basically I'm gonna give you the context of the article. The context of the article was he was saying the next coach, because Luke Walton got fired, so the next coach of the Lakers has to be willing to put up with this stuff to coach LeBron and coexist with LeBron. Okay, and so this was one of the topics in the article by Brian Windhorst. Give you another context. Brian Windhorst has been covering LeBron since he was in high school. So he's wrote like 3 books on LeBron, and he covers LeBron every day. That is his job at ESPN, to cover LeBron. This is what he said. He says, James has mastered the art of influencing decisions without taking ownership of them. If he were to issue a direct statement, then the team would know he was fully willing to stand behind it and take blame, credit, or take the blame or the credit when it works or when it fails. So go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Okay. So we can say that about anybody.
Nah.
You can literally, I'm saying it just in reality. You can say that about anybody. Like, you can have some influence. I'm not saying he doesn't have any influence. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's not saying, hey, man, get this guy involved. See what they say about that. I'm not saying he didn't say that. But I'm also not saying he said, get rid of the whole team, get AD here. I'm not saying he said that.
They were willing to offer Kuzma, Ingram, Zubac.
Absolutely. And
4 first-round picks. That's the whole team.
Right. I'm not saying LeBron was the main sole person that make that decision, that was going for that decision. Mm-hmm. I'm saying Magic was the one probably that was like, hey man, I'd give up this whole team for that.
Right.
You know, I feel like he's the guy that will say that. And I feel like, you know, Pelinka, like you said, was like, hey, well, I mean, if you think it's a good idea and it's going to bring us, you know, I think that's how it all occurred. And I think LeBron, you know, obviously saying like, hey man, you know, the best talent is going to win us a championship. Like he's just saying there, you know, he, you know, coheres them to kind of feel like, well, he agrees. So, yeah, I think he's more agreeing to it. But I'm not, come on, man. You got to think, these people got families. I think the man is a family man. I don't think it's completely just basketball. But at the same time, it is a matter of winning and having the best talent on the floor.
Right.
Who doesn't want that?
Yes.
Like he said when they asked him, like, "Oh, would you like to play with AD?" Who wouldn't?
Right.
Name a person in the world. I want to play with AD.
I want to play with AD.
But it's just the only difference is that those guys aren't veterans.
Absolutely.
They haven't been through the cycle.
Absolutely.
To understand you're here today and gone tomorrow.
No, and I understand their feeling. I don't argue with the way Kuzma and you know kind of felt about it. But that's where, like you were saying, you know, he kind of just went back to kind of saying, "Oh, like, you know, we're good. I like my team." Like, you don't go do that either.
Right.
Now you gotta go be real with them. You go, you know, you tell them like, "Look, it ain't personal, but it's personal." You know, like I'm trying to get a championship and y'all not ready.
Yeah, and there was a report that they had that, like, when all this was going on, like after it was over, or I think, before it was over, they had a team meeting, and they said it was all the players there. It was a players only meeting, and they said it was very contentious because LeBron is like pointing out what they're not doing, but they're also pointing out what he's not doing, specifically not playing defense. We're young players, and we got to push you to go play defense. So it's like, how are you going to tell us that we need to play better when you don't even play defense? And so I always say that to say it's like, you can't tell me nothing, especially if you try to trade me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me I need to play better, I need to play better defense, when first and foremost you try to trade me, and then secondly, you're not even doing that stuff yourself.
I do understand that, but you got to be a man, like Chester said. It's a business. Granted, like you said, they're young players.
Because he did this last year. He had two teams last year. And they still went to the final, so it's just, he can't do it. But that's what I told EJ, is just because of who it is. Yeah. You can't move with everybody the way that you move.
And that's a whole fact. Like said with the coaches, you got to have a coach that's willing to tolerate him trying to be the second, rather first coach on the team, and you kind of being a backup coach. Yeah. Like he don't. It's same thing with the players. They got to accept certain things, and that's a part of the business. Like people get traded every day.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, you think Blake Griffin wanted out of LA, like just off the rip?
Like, it burns, but like that was his first time going through it, and he was salty. Like, he didn't want to talk.
He was definitely salty.
So you just gotta understand, like, they younger than him,
right? DeMar DeRozan. I mean, granted, he's older, but these guys spent their careers in these places. So like, they're thinking this is where. So
everybody first time, it's just about react the same way, and that's what I seen. Like, but this is going to backfire.
I do feel like though, however. Like I said, I feel like he didn't do a good job of the after effects, and that's why it backfired. Because I mean, during I feel like it was going to be it was mess up the whole season.
It messed up the whole season.
But I felt like the season still had a chance if he would have came back to them and been able to, like, after this was not going to happen, and once it was kind of put this on the shelf, we're not getting him this year. I think he should have went to them. Hey guys, listen. Don't take it personal. Yeah. Like I was just trying to do what they wanted me to come here and do. Yeah. And this is part of the business. I want to play with the best talent. I'm late in my career. Yeah. I don't really have time to be sitting here teaching y'all.
And that is a fair point. You're right. He don't have time to be teaching.
That is.
I will agree. I will modify my stages a little. You're right. He doesn't have time to teach. However, you're gonna have to play with these. We all three of us know they're trying to set up for this season, this off season. Right. They're trying to get two max players. They're trying to get Kawhi or KD. I don't personally think it's going to happen, but they're trying to get these guys. However, even if he did get AD, I mean, the team was still going to suck anyway. But I mean, I knew the AD trade wasn't going to happen, but you still got to be more diplomatic about it than he was. He was blatantly disrespectful with it. You don't have dinner with AD or even let people see you. Have AD come to your house, something, but don't go in public and have dinner with the man and then say, "Well, we were just talking basketball." Like, that's a lie, bro. Like, that's a blatant lie, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't play on our intelligence like that.
I'll just put it like this. Say me and you, we out here winning, right?
Winning.
And then you hear from somebody else, like, yo, just say he don't even want you on the team. You gonna feel somewhere.
Absolutely.
And that's all that it is. Like, But it's gonna make you feel the way, and like since it's just their first time, they just not gonna handle it like a mature man would.
I understand that, but I think it would have been a little easier for them to cope with if he would have came to them like a man and been like, yo.
I don't think so, because it's just like it's a business for them, it's a business for him, and they know that. In order for them to get the go on AD, he gotta say something.
Absolutely. I mean,
and they know that like it doesn't matter how big or little the influence. If he said, "Nah, we can wait for AD," they would wait.
Absolutely.
But as soon as you put the go, once you press the go button, you can't get mad at the reaction you're gonna get.
No, not at all. But
so it's just that like that's what happens in business.
No, like I said, I agree to that. I just feel like things get handled better when there's more communication. The line of communication is open.
Yes.
So, like, granted, because you gotta think at first, not everybody was on the table.
Yeah.
So at first it was like, damn, man, we might lose so and so, and then out of nowhere, shit, we all like, damn, we all might be. I mean, damn, that's great. It's like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's a business. I can concur to that. I would be understanding more so if LeBron would have communicated.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I mean, honestly, it felt like a situation where it's like it's damn as you do and it's damn as you do.
Absolutely.
It was like if he did try to trade him, they was just gonna lose. You know what I'm saying?
My thing is, I should have been did this. If you would have did this the beginning of the year, then they can handle that the whole summer.
Yeah.
So that's my only thing. Like, if you're going to push the button, don't wait till 10 days before, and then once you don't get it, now we all just got to hoop. Like we're going to get along. And that's just naturally, that's impossible. We all humans. We all got emotions. It just don't go down like that.
And the thing is, AD has signed... Because he remember, he fired his agent.
Yeah.
He fired his agent, and then he signed with
he already had his deal and everything.
So they tried to back channel it. They tried to be like, yo, we got everything in place. Y'all just pull the trigger, and we're just gonna make this happen. Mm-hmm. And when it didn't happen, everybody, first of all, they tried to vilify AD, which wasn't fair to him, because he had already let them know, like, yo, I'm not gonna re-sign with you after 2 years. So they should have been actively trying to trade him. And then LeBron, like you said, tried to push the GOAT button, which he usually does with everything else. And LeBron would be looked at as a villain anyway. So, I mean, like I said, it was damned if you do and it was damned if you don't. However, like you said, communications, they save relationships. So with these people, with the new teammates that he had, he should have tried to do a better job of facilitating those relationships. Listen, I'm trying to play with the best talent. Now, we're going to be working on some trades. You know what I'm saying? 5 or 6 of y'all may be in them. I can't guarantee this. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, they're just going to have the respect and be men about it.
And I do want to say, too, though, granted, it is not his job to tell them what's going on. That isn't his job. They're not in the office. They're not in the meetings. For whatever reason, that's, again, that's whoever's business.
Yeah.
But, again, if the line is open, it do make for an easier transition into being a team again. Because now when you go have that players-only meeting and you go, hey, guys, y'all got to play better. And I'm not saying now just y'all, I'm saying me too. Because now, you're getting that bounce-off reflection where it's like, all right, you're reflective and you can see what's going on with us too. Yeah. Now we can do it as a team and get better. Because I feel like they could have made the playoffs.
They could have definitely.
No, they were definitely in the race. They were definitely in the race.
Yeah. And so I just want to say we're giving you context because in the middle of that, that's what the Lakers were going through. That's what they were trying to play through and play with. They were trying to play through these trade rumors, the inconsistent play from LeBron being hurt, all of this stuff. And, the All-Star game that happened, and one of the things that struck me about the All-Star game was they had a draft this year. And so they had a draft, and it was Giannis and it was LeBron, and they did a live draft. That's what made it so publicized this year, just because they never did that. The NHL was the only one who did a live public draft. And in the NBA and with social media now, they were going to make a big deal out of who picked who. You know what I'm saying? So Giannis had picked Ben Simmons because that's LeBron's man's. Mm-hmm. But we knew LeBron was going to pick AD. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, LeBron was just trying to be way too blatant with it. And so and that's where I bring back to my first point where I said that is my only issue with LeBron. LeBron always tries to literally want to control every single aspect around. I don't know one person on the face of this earth that controls literally every aspect of everything. I don't know one person. Even the president of the United States doesn't control everything that happens in government. So I mean, they're saying that LeBron's one of the GOATs. Why can't he control everything? I mean, my rebuttal to that is why should LeBron control everything?
I mean, it's just as simple as in the times that he won championships, he didn't control everything. It was I was reading something about a week ago where it was saying that that Tyronn Lue had to tell him to shut up in the middle of one of the games. Yeah. And then in Miami, he wasn't going over Pat Riley. So, I mean, I get it. For him to win, that's what has to happen. He needs somebody over him that's just going to keep him in line.
Up. Say chill. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the things, just to bring up another quote from that same article from Brian Windhorst. There's another section in that article that says the next person that's going to coach LeBron, they have to also possess this. The title of that paragraph was, "Hold him accountable and be ready for him to push back." This is what Brian Windhorst said. He says, "Those who knows James the best say he wants to be coached. He will accept being corrected, he will adapt, and he will try to improve. And he will accept blame for mistakes and genuinely promise to change. Sometimes." This is because James has zero qualms about going rogue. If he doesn't like the play call, he'll blow it off. If he doesn't like the game plan, he'll change it. If he doesn't like how you present him a coaching point, he'll fire right back at you. He'll do it in front of teammates and he'll do it in front of camera. And to your point, so like you said, there has to be somebody that tells him to shut the hell up, because he literally gonna try to control everything. And so that's what it was.
So everybody needs that.
So again, that goes back to what I was saying, communication. Yeah. Like if you have someone that's not gonna just sit there and let LeBron run the show, like Luke Walton probably did, like a few other coaches probably did, it's gonna be a different outcome with LeBron. Same thing with the teammates. Had he communicated just a little differently with them, there's possibly a better outcome. And maybe they win 8 of the last 14, 16 games that they couldn't win, and they get in the playoffs. I mean, still a bust, I guess. Yeah. But is it a bust because he made it or not? But we'll get to that.
Well, absolutely. And so in the middle of the Lakers season, they're trying to win games with all this extra turmoil. LeBron's blowing off play calls. They try to act like he wasn't blowing off play calls, but clearly the person who's covering him this whole career clearly saying that he blows off play calls and he blows off game plans. So, I mean, is LeBron the first great player that's hard to coach? No, he's not. Because Jordan was also hard to coach. Jordan also got Doug Collins fired. You know what I mean? So LeBron's not the first great player that's hard to coach. However, you can say what you want about Jordan. I personally don't remember Jordan trying to control the whole team. He let Phil Jackson coach, let B.J. Armstrong be the point guard. I don't remember Jordan trying to be the point guard, GM, and coach.
Different league, though.
That's a fact. It is a different league, and we're not going to go into a GOAT debate. I'm just saying I don't remember that.
Well just to touch on that, just the fact of how the play in the game was, your player didn't have to coach the game.
Yeah.
The refs made the game was a little more free, actually. Yeah. You know, it was like you were playing on the street, so like you didn't have to really call much. It was just like play on. Yeah. Like just play through it, you know. So it was like we'll call the ones that we think are really bad, or maybe here or there it really affected your shot. And then coaching, it was just more so, all right, I just got to sit back. Yeah. You know, I just watch what y'all do. Okay, let's change that, change this. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, the game has changed. You really have to, you got a game plan for players and for things. And it's hard. It's definitely going to be hard to do that with a player that definitely thinks like a coach and on the floor is thinking, damn, if he did this, if he did that, you know. So back to your point, though.
Yeah, I mean, and so just to go back to the middle of the season, it's like it's tough. It's tough for a team to thrive under these type of conditions. It's tough for teams to win games when they're constantly worried about if they're going to be traded. I mean, am I doing whatever LeBron wants me to do? Am I doing what the coach wants to do? What's going on with the GM and the basketball and VP? Like, they're trying to win games between all this. And so back to my All-Star point, they had the All-Star game. He played in the All-Star game. Then he comes back. Then he goes on Twitter and he talks about, I'm going to go in the 0 dark 30 and we're going to make the playoffs. And he was really adamant about he's going to shut social media off and they're going to make the playoffs. He's going to do everything in his power to make sure they made the playoffs. However, this is what I want to get to with the middle of the season and after the All-Star break. Like I said, my thing with LeBron is like he wants to win. However, I don't feel like he always wants to do the things that it takes to win. You know what I mean? Especially with this situation. When LeBron came back, they were, 10th in the West? And so he was going to have to put on a Herculean effort to try to win those games. And if y'all remember, after the All-Star break, Brandon Ingram was hooping. You could have made a case at that beginning point, he was their best player.
Who?
Brandon Ingram.
Not at the beginning of the point.
I'm saying at the beginning point after the All-Star.
Yeah.
Because he came out and he was hooping. He was like,
he came out ultra aggressive.
He came out ultra aggressive. He was taking shots. LeBron was giving him the ball, setting him up, and they was getting after it. And I like what I was seeing from Brandon Ingram. Lonzo was still hurt. You know, they don't like the coach. Yeah, they shut him down. He didn't like the coach. His dad got on FS1 with Skip and Shannon and said that he wasn't going to come back and play for Luke Walton. So, I mean, that was a watch. And Lonzo, honestly, he probably was their best defender besides JaVale McGee, but their best on-ball perimeter defender was probably Lonzo. That's what it was. It's Lonzo, LeBron, and JaVale McGee all have positive plus minuses. You know what I mean? So, it makes sense. They needed Lonzo to win, but Lonzo hurt his ankle, so, I mean, there was nothing there. I mean, they didn't have somebody else to replace. Rondo's towards the end of his career, and Rondo still is effective. However, he's not as effective like Lonzo is on the defensive end. You know what I mean?
He's smaller too.
Way smaller. He doesn't. He just can't guard those tough guards like the Dame Lillards, the Russell Westbrooks, the Kemba Walkers, the Kyries of the world. He can't guard those new guys no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe there once upon a time he could, but he can't now. You know what I mean? Culminated with the fact they still can't shoot free throws. Culminated with the fact they still not playing defense. I mean, as we alluded before, we're going to keep harping on this point. Defense is an important part of basketball. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't not play defense.
Defense wins championships.
Exactly. Defense wins championships. You can't, for all the people who want to say, like, LeBron's the GOAT, and I'm not making this a GOAT debate. All I want to point out is no one ever had to question whether Jordan was consistently playing defense. No one is saying that Jordan never took plays off. But LeBron be taking whole games off. There's an article in ESPN last year that says that LeBron walks during the game 77% of the time. So that means the other 30%, what is he doing? Barely playing defense. So, I mean, even look at this season. So you take that, you could up it to 80% this year.
We will go back and tell you that it's a different game when you have to do the scoring, set up the scoring. Like you've told me yourself, that's a different beast.
It's tough. It is tough.
So,
but it wasn't like he was the only player. He wasn't like he was the only player playing. We just made a case that Brandon Ingram could have been their best player. So it wasn't like he was just out there on his own.
But you're not putting in an injury.
And not to mention, he's not a run-around player. He doesn't usually guard a player that's running around either. So, I mean, him walking is... Yeah, that's normal. You're not running guarding people unless you're chasing JJ Redick.
No, but the article was saying that during the game, in any point, he's walking. though. He's not running. He's not hustling. He's walking during the game.
But even so, though, that's my point. Though, how many times in the game, though, is one individual running versus compared to him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wholeheartedly agree he doesn't play good enough defense for the caliber of player he is.
Yes.
But back to Chester's point, for how much work he does have to put in on both ends of the floor, because he still has to coach players on defense too. Because he still is telling someone go there. Granted, he's not doing it himself,
right?
Yeah.
Which is back to the same problem we had already. You know, you gotta
show it.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna tell people, hey, move here, pay attention, see that, watch that. You also can't just be watching them not do it while you're not doing it. So, I mean, I hear you. On that, but at the same time, I got to get a guy his credit,
Right. I mean, and you have to be fair, and I try to be as fair as possible. However,
no, you don't.
How am I not being fair?
Because we're not going to get into that though. That's the whole problem. Because that's going to go back to that GOAT.
Oh yeah, okay. We're not going to go to the GOAT. GOAT takes too long.
Because I'm just to say, like you say, the defense thing. Like we're not going to. You can't base defense slowly. Like you can't give defense the credit of being the greatest player because there's so many other things that make defense versus offense where you're scoring. Like the ball has to go in the basket, that's it. That's offense.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I mean, yeah, you could pass the ball, that's cool. Rebounding goes both ways.
Yeah.
But it's off. It's scoring. That's offense. Yeah. Defense is kind of a plethora.
It's not at one person. It can.
You know what I'm saying?
We just went through this.
You can't just
with KD.
You're not blocking 10 shots a game. You're not getting 10 steals a game. You can do that with every other stat. You're not doing it with those two. Granted, if you are incredibly elite and you're more than likely defensive player of the year, but you're not going to be the MVP. But nonetheless.
Yeah, nonetheless.
Jordan wasn't a defensive player of the year. But.
You said Jordan wasn't defensive player of the year? See, they trying to bait me into go to this discussion.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that. I told him that I'm not going to do that. We're going to stick to LeBron.
I would just say this about the Jordan and LeBron thing. like you said, it's two different games. If I would say Jordan wouldn't play the same amount of defense if he had to do all of the distributing as well as putting up the numbers that he's doing in that game, in that era. I'm saying. I wouldn't say now he couldn't be like James Harden with the assists and scoring, but I'm saying back then, if he had to do all the scoring and set up all the plays, I don't think he would be the elite defender because he would be wasting so much on the offensive end.
And that goes back to your point about the game, the evolution of the game and how it has changed. I mean, the only point forward back when Jordan was playing was like Pippen and then like Penny,
Magic,
like people like that. Like there wasn't a lot of these guys. Now you look around the league, there's like mad point. We got PG, Bron, everybody, Giannis, all these guys that play point forward. You know what I mean? So they're asked to do a lot because their skill set says that they can do a lot.
Yeah.
So they're putting more on them, and I totally am cognizant of that point. However, what I want to bring out and what I want to always harp on is that LeBron hasn't been playing defense, and I looked it up, and we talked about this on the other podcast. LeBron had been playing defense since he left Miami. His defensive win shares have gone down every single year. This year he had his worst tied for his worst defensive win shares.
But I would say that's just due to the organizations that he played for. The difference between
Miami and Cleveland.
There's a huge difference between Pat Riley and Dan Gilbert. You gonna tell me there's not a difference?
There is a difference. No, there is a difference.
Yeah, there's legend. Yeah, like it's just a difference in the program.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, but
that's just anybody that played with Miami. Not even saying LeBron. Like when players go to Miami, like Deion Waiters has always been out of shape. I've only seen him in shape in Miami. So like Miami just has a culture of that.
And even though going back to Miami, you know what I mean, going back to my other point about LeBron trying to control things, like he didn't even let Pat Riley know he was leaving Miami because Pat Riley wouldn't listen to him on certain players that he wanted. Now, Pat Riley's a Hall of Fame coach, and he's won more than LeBron has. So I understand Pat Riley tell LeBron to shut the hell up. I totally get it. You know what I'm saying? He has earned that right. Now, LeBron ain't like it, so what'd he do? He left and got his own team, which I have no issues with. However, well, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ted, go ahead.
Do you think that's the reason why he left? Because he couldn't.
I think the reason why he left was culminating in a bunch of factors. Number one, any team LeBron goes to, they'll be top heavy, which means that they have a lot of star players, but everything on the back end is horrible.
Usually,
you know what I mean? They have all subbed and subpar players,
which was going to happen this year.
Exactly. It happens everywhere he goes. Leaves Cleveland. Who's their best player now on Cleveland? Sexton, maybe.
Yeah,
Colin Sexton. You know what I'm saying? But when he left, it was just. It was Larry Nance. Honestly, I'll say he was the best player.
It wasn't Love.
Oh yeah, Kevin Love. My fault. My bad.
Kevin Love been hurt.
Yeah, he didn't play majority of the season.
Yeah, he missed like 50
I think it was that he saw that the talent wasn't there. I thought he wanted to like legitimately win a title for Cleveland. That's two, and I thought the third one was Pat Riley wasn't trying to acquiesce with none of his requests, and so he went to a place where he could potentially win. He could semi-control the roster passive aggressively, and he can win a title for Cleveland. That's why I feel he left.
But that's anybody though. See, if I don't get what I want over here, I'm gonna go over there.
Yeah, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So why are you taking it away from him?
I'm not taking it away from him. He asked me why he left, and I'm telling you why he left.
Oh, okay.
See, I personally think like the Cleveland thing. I think that was definitely one of the things. I think playing with Kyrie was definitely a factor in there. Yeah. Knowing he was going to basically get another big three over here in Cleveland. Yeah. So it was like, okay, I'm getting a younger big three over here in Cleveland. I think that was his biggest factor.
Yeah.
Like I think LeBron's whole objective in this whole controlling thing is his longevity, which is I mean he don't get a lot of credit for it. I mean, which I think he should get a lot more credit for all what he do in the game. And that he does, and mind you, not just the regular season, in the playoffs too. You know, we're talking about someone that been to the finals, 6-7 years in a row.
Was it 9? I thought it was 9 years. 9 finals appearances, right?
It was either 9 or 8. It was either 9 or 8.
Either way, in a row. Yeah. That's another. You're talking minimum 30 more games. So we're talking about another 2 more seasons added onto the seasons that he literally done had.
Yeah. And then to bring that point. And then to bring it back to the Lakers. So LeBron went to the finals 8 straight times or 9 straight times, whatever it is. He went there 8 straight times playing in the Eastern Conference. And, the talent pool, I'm not saying it's garbage, but it's not like the Western Conference. When the bottom team in the Eastern Conference is under 500, and then the bottom team in the Western Conference is over.
Has 50
exactly.
wins.
It's close to 50 wins. I mean, that's a big disparage in talent right there. You know what I mean? And as Kobe said in one of his one of his interviews, I think LeBron took that for granted, like how good the Western Conference is. Like the eighth, who's the eighth seed this year? Who's going to say play? Oh, the Clippers.
Yeah.
The Clippers are a tough team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they beat Golden State that one game after coming back from 30 down. You know what I mean? So LeBron didn't carefully assess the situation. He thought that he was going to still be at 34 years old. He thought he was still going to be prime GOAT LeBron, and he still is great.
Was.
No, he
was though.
By the numbers, he is. But I mean, if your team sucks, then what does that really mean?
But that's not him.
I mean,
it's still teammates.
Yeah.
Teammates are their own individuals.
So, and to your point, and I'm going to bring this out because Chester said when it happened, he said LeBron was going to a worse situation as opposed to the situation in Cleveland, and that is a fact. Cleveland, when they went to the finals, they had 5 players with a positive plus minus. The Lakers only have 3, including LeBron. So that is actually a fact. He is going to a worse situation. That team, I will say, and I will modify my stance, that the team in LA, they have more talent. They're not necessarily better. They have more talent.
That falls on who? On LeBron or the coach?
Mm-hmm. And it's a combination of both. Like we've been stating, it's a combination of both. It's a combination of how he handles certain situations, and it's a combination of the coach.
I was gonna say that goes back to him trying to get that trade, which is what he does though in his career. Because before the Miami thing, I think he had like a little like realization, like an epiphany or something. Like, oh shit, I'm at what point in age in my career? They're comparing me to Jordan faithfully. Yeah, I gotta start winning. But I'm getting older. Yeah. So how do I stay young and win and get older at the same time? Yeah. You get better players around you. Mm-hmm. You got less of a workload. Yeah. He was happy to give Kyrie the mantle.
But Kyrie, we're not even gonna get. We'll do Kyrie later. Kyrie is such a baby, man. I can't stand Kyrie. I like him as a basketball player.
But you gotta understand, he learned that from LeBron.
He is literally little. He's a little
that's
baby.
That's the Star Wars with them two.
So we'll do Kyrie later, and that'll be long because I got a lot to say about Kyrie.
Luke, I am your father. That's that.
But so LeBron, the Lakers, they're trying to deal with all this stuff. They're trying to deal with playing aside LeBron James. Like that's a huge feat. You know what I mean? That means something. That holds weight, you know. And so when you're trying to play aside LeBron James, first of all, and when you're trying to deal with trade rumors and deal with things such of that nature, it's going to be tough for them to win. And they did not win. They did not win consistently. When LeBron came back, they were 10th in the West. They ultimately didn't get it done.
Can I just what's up? Let's not say that it was tough for them to win. It was just tough for them to play because they could have won so many games. Yeah. They just wouldn't play right. They just fell apart in random different parts, free throws and can't shoot 3-pointers.
Yeah, and it's the same factors even with LeBron.
Right,
yeah. So, and that's that. You're right. That is a fair point. They just couldn't get it together.
They couldn't play together.
Just couldn't get it together. Dealing with entirely too much, and so one point I want to go back to is this is where I'll probably be labeled as a hater, and I just like to keep it real. So here we go. LeBron against the Celtics. This was when Rondo hit that shot. Rondo hit that game winner. And I think it was before the game. They were talking about the Anthony Davis trade. They were talking about how he was trying to get him there, how he was trying to muscle in. LeBron was saying, well, I don't really have anything left to prove. You know what I mean? I've done all I've done in my career, and I have nothing left to prove. So my whole thing is, then why are you in LA then? Why are you talking about you're going to bring championships to LA? If you ain't got nothing to prove, why not just retire? Why not just say, oh, F it? Because now you know what he's doing? He's setting the table for when they start losing to be like, well, you know, I ain't really have what I need. And then my man, Rob Parker for FS1 brought out a point the other day. Rick Bucher. He brought out a point the other day. He was saying LeBron in his interviews was saying that he needs the things to compete. And he was like, whoa. You didn't say nothing about competing. You talked about winning championships. Two different things. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Competing is we're gonna go to the second, third round of the playoffs.
Make the playoffs.
Winning means you're gonna win championships like Kobe did.
But that's all dependent on teammates. Like but honestly, did you expect that team when once the season started, if they were to say that was the team he was gonna have from beginning to end, did you really think that they would have a chance in the title?
No. I thought they had a chance in the playoffs.
Hold on, but you would think that he would need the tools to compete.
Yes, absolutely.
So what's the problem with what LeBron said? If you agree with it.
No, what my problem with LeBron is he's trying to set the table for more excuses.
But it's not an excuse if it's the truth. You agree with it.
But it is an excuse though.
How?
Because he's supposed to be competing for titles, not playoff berths.
But you're saying that you're saying that he wants to get better talent in AD.
Yeah.
Correct? We said that he went about it the wrong way.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure that they told him during the offseason probably that we were going to try to get better talent. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he signed off on the talent that came, thinking that it was going to be like in Cleveland and he can just get a trade.
So you're saying he got railroaded is what you're saying?
I'm not saying he got railroaded. I'm saying that he got in business, and sometimes in business things don't go as planned.
Yeah.
So I won't, like I said, when he first said it, it just didn't make sense because they were 10th seed without him.
Yeah.
So it was like if you go in there and you're not going with no one else, like Paul George was out, and he signed back with OKC. So if you're not going there with talent, because it takes talent to win, regardless.
Especially.
Yeah. And just that.
And like I said, I don't want to come off as a hater. However, why people say that I'm Skip Daniels is because I have the same position that Skip has. Like the media, people you talk to, they always want to set the stage for LeBron to have an excuse. Even that's why we doing the first year in LA, because people want to set the stage for him to have an excuse like, oh well, he didn't have the players or anything. But honestly, me personally, a lot of the stuff that went on with the Lakers was his doing. You know what I mean? So I feel like there should be no excuses now. Y'all should hold him accountable, like the article said. Hold him accountable for the stuff that he actually did, because people have an issue with holding him accountable, i.e. people like Shannon Sharp, who LeBron does everything right.
Nah, he tells us when he's wrong.
I watch the show every day, and he rarely does it.
Like I said,
he does it though.
Like I said, he did what he does everywhere he goes.
Right.
The only thing is, it didn't go how it normally goes.
That's the only thing that happened.
So with that being said, that's the only part that should have been addressed. Really, like okay, so they couldn't get AD. Like I said, if he goes back and talks to them, lets them know, hey man, look, I wanted him here. And it's nothing against you guys, but he's a proven veteran.
Yeah.
Who's better than AD on this team? Nobody. So there's nothing to argue there. Just because I don't want to play with y'all to get to that spot, it's nothing personal. Mm-hmm. I don't. Again, like I stated earlier, he knows Father Time is on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna be 34 forever. You're gonna be 35 next season, and then so forth and so forth.
Yeah.
Basketball is not like football. You move a lot more. Mm-hmm. It's way harder to play at 40. We got Vince Carter, the last player playing since the 90s.
Yeah.
It's very hard to last 20 years in the NBA. Not to say it's not hard to last in football at all. Not
Right.
And I'll just say this about the 0 dark 30. So he played 16 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Post All-Star, he still shot 50% from.
Oh, his numbers are phenomenal.
So that's what I'm saying. He still did what LeBron does.
Yeah.
It's just teammates. I even say like the injuries to Lonzo, which you'll credit to. Who else had injuries?
I think he liked.
They shut down.
They shut down Brandon Ingram.
So
and they did it after they were out of the playoff race. Yeah. So I get that, but before,
Ball wasn't.
Ball was like before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
But that's more because they don't like him and his father. They don't mess with the coach.
Everything.
Yeah, that's not exactly. That's something way different.
But he balled on the court.
Yeah, even without. Like he did his job.
But it was my first instinct. It wasn't about a championship because you weren't close.
Yeah.
So
exactly. I mean, go ahead, Tess.
No. I was going to just say you're right because you weren't close when you signed the paper. Like that team, and that's why like you were saying he had to be told like, all right, we're going to get more talent in here. We're going to get a team that's going to be playoff bound. Because if we get to the playoffs. From there, whose job is it?
It's LeBron.
Because that's what you wanted, right? You want us to get you lined up for the playoffs. we get you there. Now you take us to the promised land.
Yeah.
Which wasn't going to be anything anyway, but that was the whole goal, I think, of the season. Really was, unfortunately, like you were alluding to earlier, it wasn't really to contend for a championship. It was just to make the playoffs.
Right. And so that brings me towards the end of the season. Like you said, they shut Ingram down. They shut LeBron down when they finally were like eliminated, mathematically eliminated. They could not make the playoffs by any stretch of the imagination. They shut him down. And then even after the one game, I forgot what game it was, and the reporter asked LeBron, do you think that they should start thinking about sitting you for the longevity, for the future? He's like, well, that's a conversation that me and Luke will have. And, dude, we knew he was going to sit anyway. Like, that's another one of my issue. Like, he be trying to play out intelligence like we don't know where we knew you were sitting, bro.
I would say this, it's just new. I think that's what it is. It's just new territory. Like, there's never been a time where LeBron missed this many games. It's never been a time.
Right. This is first significant injury of his career, right? Yep.
First time he's been on the playoffs in, 15 years?
Yeah.
So I just think it's a first. Like, I think when he's answering the questions, he's answering them honest. I just think, like, he's just answering them as he probably might just be shocked that he has to answer the questions the way that he does, because he hasn't had to in a long time.
So
Ever.
15 years.
Ever.
Ever.
So, one point, and I want your opinion on this, but so he's out of the playoffs. They sit him. They're not making the playoffs anymore. And so before we end this segment and we go just to the aftermath and to the end, I want to say that I want to throw some stats at you guys real quick. So last year, when the Lakers had their core young nucleus, they had just them with no LeBron. They had 35 wins, and this year they have 37 wins with LeBron. Their record with LeBron in the lineup is only one game over 500. It's 20-19. LeBron leads the team in turnovers. Does anybody know who's the active leader in turnovers
In the league?
James Harden.
No.
Who is it?
It's LeBron James. He's the active leader career in turnovers right now.
Career.
He's an active leader. He's an active leader in turnovers.
Let's do the year, though.
I'm just saying. He's a career. Actively, he is the leader in turnovers.
But he's actively in 16 years of being a main ball handler.
I was going to say, because I bet Westbrook is probably on his heels.
Westbrook is high up there.
I bet he's on his heels.
He hasn't.
Well, we ain't gonna talk negatively about Westbrook right now. I can't stomach that right now.
Okay, that's my fault with that.
I can't stomach talk about Westbrook too bad, especially after last night. We can't do that. Bro. Can't do that. I'm just talking about. I want us to sit here and ponder. Did LeBron James actually make a big difference with this team if they were in the bottom half in turnovers? They were 29th. They were 29th in free throw percentage. They only won 37 games. Now, obviously, we got to take into consideration injuries. Got to take that into consideration, because if he didn't pop his groin, I say the worst they would have finished was maybe 6 or 7.
Worst case that'd be 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Worst case is playoffs.
Yeah, they still would have been in it. And like I said, these numbers. I'm trying not to put all of the onus on the numbers. However, they do paint a picture, and they do give some type of context as to what LeBron was actually doing towards the end of the season before he got shut down. LeBron had a whole Shaq and the Fool highlight for not playing defense. So one must ask, should LeBron have sat himself when he knew that they weren't going to make the playoffs? Not even go 0 dark 30, just sat himself and rested himself. That's the question I want to pose.
No, because just because he's in the NBA, people still are paying for Lakers games to see him. Right. So it's still a business at the end of the day. So I would say you just can't shut it down, because people are paying, a nice price to see a Laker game, and they're mainly paying to see LeBron at this point. Because I'm not paying to see Kyle Kuzma and whoever the other kid that was positive that you said.
It was Lonzo, JaVale McGee, and LeBron.
Well, whoever the other dude is off the bench, I'm not paying to see him neither. So,
to agree with him, it's all about the business, man. who comes to see Kuzma?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Kuzma's becoming a nice player, but I would rather see Jason Tatum. And they both the same.
They both the same age.
Yeah.
I think he way older than Tatum.
He's like. But I'm saying but Kuzma been in the league though like 2 years.
Yeah, they've been in the league the same amount of time.
So like I'd rather see Tatum. He's more exciting. I feel like he changes the game a little more. You know, so it's like. If I'm gonna go to a Laker game, I'm hoping to see LeBron.
Yeah.
And if I go there and I hear he's not playing, I feel like I just wasted my money.
And that's a very fair point. However, the Lakers have to think about. I'm just playing devil's advocate, but the Lakers have to think about their long-term future and what they want to accomplish. So, me personally, I don't feel like having a. Me and you discussed this, Chester. We were saying because we were talking about his dunks. Because remember he had those dunks against Chicago, and Chester was because that was before the dunks. Or was it after? It was before the dunks. After the dunks, excuse me. It was after the dunks. Remember, he got his thing stuffed by
Jared Allen.
No, not Jared Allen. That was way early. He got stuffed by the dude from the Knicks. Hernan Gomez. That's what it is. He got his thing stuffed by Hernan Gomez, and they made such a big deal about it. You know what I mean? And so I was saying, so Chester, what you got to tell me about him getting blocked? Like, what happened? Shannon Sharp tried to say he went off the wrong foot, whatever the case may be. But I was saying, you was like, well, I'm sorry if I don't feel like he's 100% healthy. No, he wasn't 100%. I don't personally think that any athlete is 100% healthy. Like, if you play the sport, you're probably never 100% healthy.
Hernan Gomez is because he only plays like 10 minutes.
So that's fair. That's a fair point. And he's bigger, and he's taller than LeBron. So all I wanted to say was, at the end of the season, I wanted to prognosticate or think about how healthy was he when those two dunks he had against Chicago. If your groin is hurt, you can't dunk like that. If your groin is that hurt, you cannot dunk like that. He did a reverse, and then he did two good dunks at it. That's all I'm saying.
Wait, because I have had 2 groin injuries.
Mm-hmm. Did you tear your groin?
I currently I've had hernias.
Okay.
So I mean, I think that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like that's a lot of pain. I hoop all the time. I've been hooping with a hernia for the past like 2 years.
Yeah.
So not that that's good or anything, but but so like not to say that a tear or a hernia one or other better. But my thing is about the pain. Like there's times where it hurts more than others.
Yeah.
So one day he might have been feeling good. The Chicago game, he was a lot of bounce in his step. Everything. All the treatment's good. Everything's good. Like you said, they get shot up for these shots.
Yeah.
Everything's good. And then there's times where he goes to get this jump against Hernan Gomez. It's late in the game. He's tired. He takes a bad angle, first of all. It's hard to jump straight up, leaning to any side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but even if that's the case, block shots, that's part of basketball.
And then at the end of the day, it was a good. I mean, that was good defense.
Yeah,
like so, we gotta give other people credit when they play good defense.
Yeah, like Shannon Sharp said, they get paid too. You know?
Yeah, like people give it's always one of, just like you were saying. Oh, he don't never get blamed for stuff. He get a lot of blame for when a player blocks his shot or swipes the ball from him or dunks on him. It's like, oh my God, they did it to Jesus or God. He's another player on the floor just like anybody else. So,
but to that though, he is not just another player.
He's not, and
he's GOAT level player, and I will admit he's GOAT level. He's not just another player.
I mean, but Jordan got his shot blocked too.
Okay,
he did his possible.
GOAT level doesn't entitle you not to have a bad play or two.
Okay,
it's part of the game.
It's like you get everybody get paid to play, so you should be out there at least trying.
There's just enough pride out there. There's enough pride out there for you to get it.
Okay, so was he that hurt or was he not?
Just say he's not. Say he's not. He still put up the same numbers.
He did 28 and 8.
I'll take that. No excuse. He still put up the same numbers that he always does.
Yeah. I'm glad there's some people that don't give him an excuse. Like I said, just because I don't give him a pass, it doesn't make me a hater. That just means that I'm holding my favorite athletes accountable. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And oddly enough, just now that you brought up the wins-loss ratio from last year this year, if you put that in perspective, he actually did good then. If you want to technically, because he won. You're saying with him they won 20 games.
Yeah, with him in the lineup they won 20 games.
New team.
Yeah.
That mean, and you tell me
they were saying that they're only one game over 500 when he's in the lineup.
Yeah, but that's a new team.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
don't every team have chemistry bumps?
Yes.
A team that won 79 games got KD and lost. They lost more games than the team that they had before without KD.
So this team, they won a couple more games. He got hurt. There was a trade. I mean, considering everything, considering they still had a chance at the playoffs, we talk like 20 games, not even more than 20, less than 20 games left. They still had a chance. Like
last 15 games, they had a chance.
They still had a chance. Like, and I mean, this is a long season, 82 games. You still had a chance at 15 games left. You had other people that were locked in already.
Like, and the Lakers were never in playoff contention last year. So it was a different 37 to 35. It's a complete difference.
So it has to be looked at a little differently. So I would want to say it's a bust because it's LeBron. You expect the playoffs out of LeBron, but with everything that happened in the middle of the season, I feel like that broke the season apart.
Yeah, it did.
It broke the chance of there being a good season, a successful season for them.
Right, and so now we have progressed through the middle of the season, and that Knicks game I alluded to with Hernan Gomez blocking the shot. They made a big deal. They made a big deal about this for like 2 weeks when LeBron was sitting at the end of the bench. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't with his teammates, and they're like, "Well, Captain Jack." My man Steven Jackson, I love Steven Jackson. He was saying, "Well, LeBron does that all the time, and it's fine because he does it all the time." However, I may come off as a hater again. He been doing stuff throughout the whole season that may lead you to believe it wasn't just that. He been doing stuff all year that's been like, yo, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like like me, us three, like we. You know when somebody ain't messing with you.
Yeah.
You know when somebody trying to disrespect you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't no dummies. You sitting at the end of the bench, you're not messing with your teammates. You throw the ball behind the backboard on an inbounds play for a turnover, and then you just walk to the end of the bench. Like, that's not good. Body language means everything. You know what I'm saying? They don't give you the ball down low, you shrug your shoulders, and now you don't get back on defense.
But I would say he's had bad body language his whole career. But the thing that's always saved him is, like, since he's been in Miami, he's always had veterans. Yeah. Veterans have always helped him. Like, I remember there was a time when he bumped into Spoelstra.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, like, that's something that was even before he won his first championship. So, that's been, I would say that he's always had, like, poor body language, and when he don't mess with people, he, like, makes it known.
Yeah, and go ahead.
And not to defend him, but sometimes, you know, your body language is a reflection of how you feeling about yourself too, though.
Yeah, sometimes.
You know? So I know there's a lot of times where I feel like, you know, that's my fault. I did that, and my body language will look like, or I'm not talking to people, or you know, voicing what's wrong. But again, that goes back to communicating. Yeah, you know, you got to do better, especially when you're, you know, GOAT level.
Yeah, when you GOAT level, when you LeBron James, like I said, I watch Shannon Sharp and Skip every day, and they literally talk about LeBron every single day. Every single day, they have a topic about LeBron. So you can't help but to know what's going on with him every single day. And so Shannon Sharp was trying to say, well, LeBron's not in the playoffs, and LeBron's doing all this. Now it's just like, yo, you know what I mean? Now they just piling on. And I was just like, yo, he's not piling. You can't say that they're piling on now. Some people are. But you can't just say, like, yo, people are piling on.
Well, I would just say that's just bad leadership anywhere that you go. So I get it.
You know, and I hate, and this is again, it's just like, yo, you can't consistently give this man excuses when he's GOAT level. Like you used to always tell me, and I'm not gonna make it a GOAT debate. I'm not gonna do it. However, you tell me Jordan was getting bounced out in the playoffs first round every year. I presented to you that all his teammates were negatively graded in defense and in offense. And you say, so why is he taking these teams to the playoffs? So why can't I hold LeBron accountable when he's doing?
But you don't hold it. That's the thing. You don't hold Jordan accountable for that season. You only hold Jordan accountable for winning 6 rings.
Okay, so is that why you're not holding LeBron accountable?
It's not. It's just, if it's a fact, it's a fact. If you're playing with bad teammates, you can't win.
It's gonna be harder.
So his body. So you're well, not you, but you're excusing his body language as bad leadership.
No, I said that's bad leadership. What else you want me to say?
I'm just trying to make it clear that y'all holding him accountable for the stuff that he's doing.
No, I'm not. No, we were talking about something else. I'm just talking about. I'm not. Why are you going to hold this season? But you don't hold it as heavy as, like, when Jordan wasn't going to the playoffs and when he gets knocked out in the first round.
I'm just saying we should equally hold people accountable. Yes, I will agree. I don't hold Jordan accountable as much as I should.
So how about you start on your part of equality?
Nah, all I'm saying. Well, we're talking about LeBron right now. We're not talking about Jordan. It's not a GOAT. Okay. Not a GOAT debate. I just want to understand why, when it comes to LeBron doing stuff, people don't hold him as accountable as they do Jordan. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I could see there being a less accountability for him. Like I said before, he does so much for the team. Not to say that Jordan, you know, didn't do much. But like you said, Jordan wasn't sitting there trying to coach the team. Jordan was just letting everybody kind of, do what you got to do. Here or there, he might, do what he had to do. But again, the talent is different now.
Yeah,
like
and his job was different.
Yeah, like it's so much harder to teach people how to do what they have to do, and be the main scorer, and go out there and show them how to do it.
Yeah,
like you think about Kobe didn't do that either.
Kobe just was a gunner.
Kobe just was out there putting it up and just hooping. Like he wasn't.
Why
really,
you guys have to bring other players?
No, I'm just saying great players though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when we talk about great players and LeBron is one of them.
Yeah.
You look at them and some of them didn't do that.
Yeah.
And then when you look at other great players, that wasn't their job. That some people didn't hold that as their job for some reason. That's his job.
All right, and these are all fair points, but these are just things that real LeBron fans, like I said, I'm a fan of LeBron, the basketball player. So I just always pose the questions to LeBron, like the really big fans of LeBron. I wanted to pose these questions to them and just ask them like why they don't hold these people accountable. And so now we have got through the middle of the season, so we're going to wrap this up on the next segment. We're going to talk about the end of the season and what happened after the Lakers season were over. And I want to know what they think the Lakers should do going on and going forward to win championships. All right, welcome back to the Ham and Turkey, everyone. Chester and Tez are trying to bait me into a GOAT conversation, so we gotta finish this before they try to bait me because they know me well enough to know that I can't stop myself from a great argument. But so now we're at the end of the season.
Skip.
We're at the end of the season. LeBron shut down. Season's over. Lakers didn't make the playoffs. It is what it is. So now LeBron is pushing the GOAT button. That's what you said. He's pushing the GOAT button, and things are starting to happen. So now Luke Walton's been fired. Before Luke Walton got fired, Magic stepped down.
I wouldn't say that's dope, but let's not put that on LeBron because
why not? He's a coach killer.
I wouldn't say that because I'm talking about Magic.
Oh,
Magic said he was leaving and ain't nobody else know he was leaving. Like that was crazy.
I mean, there is a lot of dysfunction in that front office. I mean,
that's the basketball VP though.
Right. I mean, LeBron
part of it.
LeBron didn't have nothing to do with the dysfunction that's in their franchise.
No,
none.
He got for Luke Walton, I maybe give you that. For Magic, he really gave Magic problems?
No, I don't think he gave Magic problems.
So,
but I'm saying that the organization being dysfunctional, because that's what they say. They're saying that the Lakers are they're telling coaches not to go to the Lakers because it's dysfunctional.
But
so whose fault is that?
They were dysfunctional.
The Lakers
before he got there.
You're gonna tell me one person came over and set a bomb off over there?
So they won 2 more games.
LeBron not capable of that, Tez?
But he won 2 more games than what they won before. So
and y'all happy about the 2 more games?
I'm saying how do you win more games but you're the problem?
You were hurt.
And you got hurt.
We just went over why he doesn't have all the culpability, but he got a good part of it.
No, absolutely.
I'll say that.
But how?
But we're talking. But no. We agreed on that. We did. We agreed that he does have some
accountability.
No, I'm saying for the defense.
For the season.
If you want to take for the defense, but offensively, he did his job
for the season.
What was his job offensively? What did he do?
He does 28-7.
27,
so you're saying
8.
Personal statistics that he does for his career, he did what he was supposed to do, right? That's what you're saying.
So what else was he supposed to do? Because you tell me he's a pass first guard and he's averaging 27 points.
What do I expect from Steph Curry? I expect him to hit threes and set his teammates up and control the tempo and pace.
Do you expect him to go 12 points, 15 assists, 7-8 boards?
He had 15 2 games ago.
Rebounds?
15 boards, yes, he did. Yeah.
Or do you expect that on a nightly basis?
No.
Okay, so you were surprised then. It was like, oh shoot.
He actually is a pretty decent rebounding guard.
How many triple doubles he ever had?
I don't. Not many. He's no Russell Westbrook.
My point, not even that. He doesn't. Steph is not a pass first point guard. Obviously, he doesn't rebound the ball that much. He can rebound, but he doesn't rebound that much. My point is, you expect Steph to shoot.
Yeah.
You expect the whole team to shoot. LeBron did his job.
Okay.
You expect him to set up players. He did that. You expect him to get rebounds. He did that. And you expect him to give you more.
You expected him to be positive. That's what he was.
He was positive. So, to wrap this up, I want each of you to tell me, because here's the report. The report is that obviously they're looking for a new coach. Rob Pelinka just met with Tyronn Lue yesterday. Mm-hmm. So it's Tyronn Lue, Monty Williams, and Juwan Howard are the 3 candidates that they're considering making the next Lakers head coach. Now, they're saying that the issue is that Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers, She does not want to give full control of her franchise over to LeBron James, which I have already stated I would feel is a horrible idea to give him 100% control over everything. So to wrap this up, I want you guys to both articulate to me what the Lakers should do going forward so that they win. I want both of y'all to go, then I'll go.
I think they should give him control. Last time I checked, last time he had control of a situation for about 3 years, he won a championship.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, you seen what happened when they did the Big Three in Miami. You seen what happened when he went home to Cleveland. I mean, when the guy is given the chance to make some moves and make things happen. I mean, what we here for? Wins or championships? He's proven that he can get you there if you let him get you there. So okay. I mean, he should probably get it.
So now I'm going, and y'all know, like I said before, I am not with giving him 100% control. Like I said, no one should have 100% control of anything. No one should have no oversight, and that's essentially what it be. He'll have Rich Paul running everything behind the scenes. They said that he should coach the team. LeBron should coach the team. Like, he should be a player coach. Mm-hmm. But like I said, he shouldn't be a player coach. But essentially, that's what he'd be doing. If you're getting Ty Lue, you're saying that I'm going to let LeBron coach my team. That's basically what you're saying. He put Ty Lue, he made Ty Lue take a sabbatical because Ty Lue was having heart trouble trying to deal with LeBron back in Cleveland when they lost the title last time.
Come on.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So out of all the things in life, in Tyronn Lue's life, LeBron is the reason for that.
He not?
After winning a championship the season prior.
No, that season, remember last year when they lost the finals?
Yeah.
And in the middle of that season, Larry Drew took over as the coach, and Ty Lue had to go on sabbatical because he was having heart trouble.
So he had heart trouble. It couldn't be because he's a grown man.
Because it's the stress of the job, bro. The stress of the job don't mean nothing. See, this is what I'm talking about. We're giving him culpability.
It means something, but you're not going to give him culpability for a man having a heart attack.
So LeBron had nothing to do.
Were they in the gym? Was he in his office?
I am not anatomically saying that LeBron caused that. I'm saying that he contributed to the stress, which made Ty Lue have to take a sabbatical.
So not the fact that Ty Lue's a coach in the NBA, the fact that he has to coach LeBron in the NBA is why.
Absolutely.
So you're telling me he's the only coach in history of coaching that's ever had heart problems.
No, he's not the only. No.
Hold on. So their problem is LeBron's their problem too. That's why they got heart problems.
No, I'm saying that Ty Lue specific. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So you're telling me a team that was again playoff bound as the Cleveland Cavaliers were. Yeah. Winning the easy East as they were. You're telling me amidst that. Oh, it's so hard to coach you. Heart attack.
No, I said the stress of that season, which LeBron attributed to.
In the middle of it, mind you, though.
Right, and that he attributed to caused that. That's what I said.
I won't say that.
Why they were winning,
I won't agree. I won't agree with that. I won't agree with that.
What did he say this season? He thrives being uncomfortable, right? So it was just a perfect environment for him. Everybody uncomfortable. He doing all this stuff on Twitter. He doing everything.
See, you take his words verbatim, but then you say something. And it's not supposed to be.
My problem is that y'all don't put any weight in the words that he say.
No,
y'all just be like, oh well, let's just LeBron being LeBron. Like what do you mean?
What are you talking about? You're saying something totally different. You're saying he's playing a part in heart conditions.
Yeah,
like that's completely different than being accountable.
Stress can contribute to heart conditions, right?
Okay, but
so did he not play a part? Yes, he did. Yes,
but that's because he works with them. EJ, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure when you go to work, you get stressed out at work sometimes.
Sometimes.
So if you you're telling me if you gotta,
would you have a different level of stress if LeBron James was the player you're trying to coach?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
No. I would actually enjoy it more because. All right, never mind.
No, go ahead. What's your point?
Mind. No, because you're telling me that he's bringing wins. He went to the finals 8 straight times with about
about 7-9 different teams.
But he's the only factor. He's the common denominator in going to the finals. Him
every time.
Him.
All right.
You can take Wade out.
Right.
You can take Chris Bosh out. You can take Ray Allen out. You can take all those players out. You can take Kyrie out. Still going to the finals. You can take Love out. Love got hurt in one of the playoff runs. He's still going to the finals. Everybody else has dropped off. He's the common factor of winning.
So you're saying, both of y'all are saying that LeBron had nothing to do with that, basically, what you're saying?
No, I'm not putting that on him.
I'm not. No. He's not a direct factor.
See, this is the type of things that.
This is not even basketball now.
It's not. It's coach.
You're saying
it's
this man contributed to a factor in his life.
I'm just saying that they're trying to bring in a coach that's just going to acquiesce what LeBron wants. That's what I'm saying.
No, but we already went over this, that Tyronn Lue is not that guy. Tyronn Lue is the guy that tells them to shut up. We can actually go back we did. So how can it be from he can tell LeBron to shut up to now, LeBron's the only reason that he's got a heart problem.
Did LeBron spaz on him in the finals last year?
LeBron's coach. Oh, so he's the only player to ever spaz on the coach?
No, he isn't.
So what are we talking about?
Latrell choked this coach.
You said what?
Latrell pretty well choked George Karl.
But that's different because they said that the way PJ Carlesimo was disrespecting players behind the scenes and touching them and hitting them and stuff like that, they were surprised that he didn't do that earlier. So it's different. It's a different.
But that's not even that.
Different scenario.
No, the matter of the fact is this man put his hands on someone. He literally put his hands on.
So did his coach. Y'all just didn't know about it or see it.
Who, George Karl?
No, his coach. He didn't choke her. He choked PJ Carlesimo.
Even so, that goes to the fact of talking about coaches being like, oh, they curse too much or they're too in your face. Some coaches do that, some coaches don't. But it obviously, like, with the Jimmy Butler situation, you don't want a coach talking to you a certain type of way. You're a grown man.
Yeah.
So obviously, no grown man wants to be talked to any certain type of way. And you're also not going to be touched any certain type of way. You telling me this grown man was touching Latrell Sprewell in a way Latrell didn't want to be touched, and Latrell didn't speak on his honest manner before it got to a point of, I'm going to put my hands on you? No.
Throat.
Like, 2 hands, I'm ready to kill you? Come on, man.
I just believe in my heart of hearts that the Lakers should not only because of they're going to hire Ty Lue. They're trying to act like they're not, but they're going to hire Ty Lue and they're going to give the keys to LeBron. And when they get all these big name free agents, I don't know who they're going to get. I don't know who's going to want to play with LeBron. There's another article out there that's asking why don't players want to play with LeBron? That was wrote by Rick Bucher. He works for Yahoo. They said, why don't people want to play with LeBron? It's because, and I've been saying this before, it's because when you lose, it's all your fault. It's all the other person's or the other people's fault. When you win, it's because of him. So it's like nobody wants to play under that pressure. Paul George didn't want to go to LA. Kawhi didn't want to go to LA. You know what I'm saying?
But that was the same thing for Kobe and Shaq. That was the same thing for
the players.
That's the best that's going to happen. They said the same thing about Pippen when Jordan and Pippen lost to the Magic. It's the same thing.
Listen, man.
Same thing.
Like my boy will say, they sweet. They don't want to deal with the pressure of a person saying, "Oh, I expect all of this out of you every trip."
Yeah.
Now, I don't get why those players don't decide to say, "Well, I expect this out of you every trip," because apparently LeBron likes being held accountable, right? He said that, right?
Sometimes. The article says sometimes.
Okay. No, we'll say he'll listen sometimes.
Sometimes.
But that doesn't mean that didn't say he don't like being held accountable.
Okay.
So he likes
fair. You're right.
That said he listens sometimes. Yeah. But hey, at least if we could have that line of communication, y'all gonna play better. It's so much easier to have a great player tell you, yo, hey, do this, that, and the third. You can get this, that, and the third. You be like, word? All right, boom, let me do it. Versus, he keep talking to me, keep telling me, and he ain't. Instead of being combative, why not instead, okay, go do what he just said, and now tell him what he ain't doing. So now we don't have to talk about what I wasn't doing, because that's no longer a topic of discussion. I'm doing that. Instead of being, I'm scared to listen to a guy because he's not the coach. The guy gets paid enough money. He could coach me. You could coach and play with me. Come on.
I don't feel like you should subject your co-star to that type of scrutiny and criticism. Honestly, just because I'm playing. If I had, like y'all said, the GOAT has a bad game once in a while, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, let's take Paul George, for example. Paul George have a bad game, and they'll kill Paul George just because he's playing with LeBron. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like that's fair. Like, they kill Kevin Love because Kevin Love wasn't eating. But Kevin Love in one of the series last year, he was averaging 20 and 10 in the finals, and they're still killing him like, oh, he's not doing enough. What more do you want? He averages 20 and 10.
He did not average 20 and 10.
Son, at a point in the playoffs, he was averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds.
And
at 8 points.
It was either Eastern Conference Final or the finals, but averaging 20 and 10.
No, it couldn't have been because there was a point in time where during that playoffs run where nobody scored over 20 points outside of LeBron.
I was going to say, so you're talking about him averaging in a course of 2 or 3 games, games. Like we're not talking.
He was
about,
averaging 20.
No,
we're not talking about him carrying them for a series. Once again, we're talking about a guy who literally he literally does his job everywhere he goes. This man does his job. Okay, it's the playoffs. I got who on my team? All right, I got Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen. Guess what I'm going to give you? About 28, 8, and 8. So guess what? All right, I don't got them no more. I got Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, Kyrie. Okay, a couple other players. Guess what I'm going to give you? 28, 8, and 8. Like, he's consistent as all can be. And that's obviously not arguable. But, I mean...
So, y'all telling me at age 34... Next year he'll be 35. He signed a 4-year contract, so that means by the time he's done, he's going to be close to Florida. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that you're going to give an aging superstar, which he is. He's an aging superstar. We can all agree with that. I mean, he's putting up the same numbers.
His numbers are not
but
aging.
physically, he's aging. We can see that.
His numbers are not aging.
Yeah. Okay, his numbers isn't aging, but he's an aging superstar. He's over 30.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to give the keys to the franchise, the Lakers, to mind you, to LeBron James and his team, right?
Okay. I mean, that's what they usually do. They did that to Kobe, right?
But LeBron's not Kobe.
Okay, hold on.
LeBron is not Kobe.
Let's talk about that. You're talking about for LA, or are you talking about a basketball player?
I'm talking for LA.
No, but what was this conversation about?
It's his first year in LA. Now we're talking at the end.
But what is it about? His first year in LA because of what?
Because of what?
Basketball.
Okay, basketball.
This is all about basketball. They don't care about I don't think the Lakers care about that. They just want to win.
And right, so why didn't Jeannie Buss just give him the keys to the franchise earlier than now? If she don't care,
I mean, why is she holding up? Though?
Like you said, she didn't want to.
Right,
she didn't want to because
and rightfully so, because when he leaves, when he's done, he's gonna leave her with scraps.
No, see that's the thing though. Like you was just alluding to, Kobe had the key. Look what he left him with.
This is actually
this
what Kobe left.
This is the turmoil from the Kobe Bryant, the contract he re-signed with them before his year was over. Like this is from Kobe. Like this is what Kobe left him with: the non-championships, and then now these non-playoff, and then now these losing seasons.
Kobe, but it's not like they have straight scrubs on their team, though.
Absolutely not.
But they don't have any.
LeBron is leaving the team with nothing but scrubs.
But that's the thing. His whole goal, his whole goal was to get KD or get AD and possibly get Kyrie. So or somebody else. But ideally, the two players that he possibly gets there, they're going to hold the team down.
Yeah.
They're going to possibly do what? Get another set of players to come play with them once he's on his final, steps
So you
out.
think that LA's as currently constructed are going to be able to land two big free agents?
I mean, they're able to. Will they? It's going to be a struggle.
It's going to be a struggle.
I would say it'd be easier when your man's is a sports agent. I would say it'd be easier.
Who's a sports agent?
Well, AD.
Clutch Sports.
Oh.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll probably be easy for AD. I feel like it's going to be a little harder for Kyrie, because he's going to be kind of torn with the idea that they're playing well now. Depending on the run they make towards this finals, that's going to be a heavy determination for him. Because I'm sorry, I don't see anybody who wins leaving their team.
Yeah,
that just doesn't make sense to me.
It don't make sense.
And we
got
to kill the notion that players don't want to play. AD wanted to play.
That's one player out of like top 5 or 6 free agents. Big name, because Paul George clearly didn't want to go there. Kawhi had a chance to go there, and he didn't go there.
He didn't. Kawhi didn't have a chance.
He wanted to force. You think you're gonna go there after this year?
Probably not.
All right, so you don't want to play there then?
No, that's
okay,
not.
But that's but there's like 200 players. You're talking about like 5 or 6
these are
players.
These are top 10 players in the league.
But they don't want to play with him because they don't want to get scrutinized if they lose.
And that's fair for them.
That's terrible as a competitor.
No. I don't think they don't want to go there for the matter of playing with him or anything like that. I think it's a matter of most of these players are in winning situations. We're talking about other than AD. KD is playing with the Warriors. Like, why would you want to leave there?
He left a team that was up 3-1 to join the current team.
To go join that team. So he's only joining teams that are better. So I don't see him going there. Then you look Kawhi. Maybe he goes there, but
it's a maybe.
What?
It's a heavy maybe, right?
For what? The weather? That's literally the only reason.
And he's from LA. He's from LA.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, other than that, he's got a winning team right now. Yeah. Possibly another contender for a finals. Ideally, no one's leaving if they're going to be fighting for that finals. I don't see it happening. So again, AD makes a whole bunch of sense. He don't want to play there no more. I mean, he wants to play basketball. Yeah. He just don't want to be playing for a team that ain't competing. Yeah. He thinks there's a better chance if I go play with LeBron James, me and LeBron on the same floor for 25 plus minutes in a 40-minute game is going to be a big difference. 30 plus minutes we're talking possibly. That's a big difference out there than whatever's out there on the floor.
I think there was one sports writer, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Chris Broussard. Chris Broussard was making the case that if AD went to go play with LeBron, he don't feel like that would be the best fit for AD because for LeBron to be successful, I mean, we know he needs shooters. He needs shooters like.
But he runs the pick and roll.
Right.
Running the pick and roll.
No, he does. You're right. I agree. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think it would be, but when LeBron is at his best, he got shooters all around, and he got one other dude that can go get a bucket. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
But AD can give him an element that he's never had, and that's somebody that can come off the pick and roll, that can hit a three, that can go up for the alley. Because Kevin Love can hit the three, but he couldn't go up for an alley.
I agree.
So now you got somebody that's running to the basket. So now you add an element of passing that LeBron has never really used, and that's the alley oop. Mm-hmm. So it's just different, man.
It is, and again, bringing back to the thesis of this whole thing, I'm never a fan of just giving a player or anybody 100% control of anything. Even if we go back to the other case in LA, just for a quick second, we'll go to the Clippers when Doc is the coach and Doc is the GM. You know what I mean? And Chris Paul left because Doc didn't want to trade Austin Rivers away. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't want to get Melo. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And Chris Paul would have stayed. Maybe we would have kept the Clippers team together. And maybe I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they would have won a championship. We don't know. No. We don't know. No. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would, but we don't know. However, that's just an instance of where when someone has absolute control and they're a judge, jury, and their own executioner, it's like, how do you have any type of checks and balances?
But why do you feel that's like I said? Why do you think that these players are leaving off of one notion? Like, you think that Chris Paul gave a care about the fact that Austin Rivers was his backup that much?
No, he cared. He didn't mess with Doc like that. And he didn't think Doc was about winning because he would have traded for Melo if he was about winning.
So my point being is the matter of him leaving is a matter of you don't want to put the players that we or I, as your star, think we should have around us to win. You're basically saying that that's acceptable in that notion.
No, it's not. I'm making the case that when someone has 100% control of everything, they don't always make the best decision for the team. And I feel that same way with LeBron.
But the thing is, though, had he made them decisions, Chris Paul probably stays, right? Yeah. Like you just said, they possibly contend for a championship now. So again, if that person with all that power does what they should do and lines it up like LeBron did for 8+ years, you got championship results. Like didn't he line up that Miami thing?
That's too.
That's whatever. Right. Didn't he line up that Cleveland thing? Kyrie was already there.
No, he lined the Cleveland thing up.
I mean, wasn't he trying to line something up here? Like, granted, it might not be a first year thing for him, but the second year, oh boy, we got something to talk about. Yeah. Granted, now this not what this complete topic. This one's a little different. Yeah. The situation didn't play out the same. So. Yeah. But I think LeBron definitely he needs the ring. He needs to be able to control more of the game that's not on the floor, but reflects to the game on the floor. He don't need to coach the players, but he need to coach the office. Like, all right, this is what we need to do to get the win. And then on the floor, he needs to let everyone be the best them they can be, and just kind of play his game. He don't really got to play. I don't think he really got to coach players like that.
I mean,
because Kobe didn't have to coach players, and I feel like you don't have to. Just let them play off you.
Kobe did do a little coaching.
He did. No,
he did not.
No, he did a little bit.
He did do a little bit.
There's
a clip of him coaching Jordan Farmar.
There's a clip. There's plenty of times.
Yeah, there's one clip.
And him telling Lamar. There's a clip of him in practice telling Ron Artest how to move. He was coaching.
Okay. And there's also clips of Kobe talking about his teammates and then getting straight on the jet and heading home.
I mean, we know that about Kobe.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You like you are crazy because you like to give people that you like a pass, but then want somebody to give somebody that they like.
Have I not told you that Kobe shoot too much?
Never. This is my first time hearing it.
Kobe shoots too much.
This is my first time ever.
Kobe has the most missed shots in NBA history. He shoots too much.
Yeah, Kobe I've only been telling you this for 5 years.
Kobe didn't always do everything right. Most, you know what I'm saying? He tried to get Phil Jackson out of there because he didn't want to be coached. It was in Phil's book.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but you don't hold that against him.
I do hold that against Kobe.
I've never heard you call him a coach killer.
He's not. What coaches he got killed?
What's his name?
Who
did he try to get out of there?
He tried to get Phil out.
But did he get him out of there?
I don't remember.
No, he got him out of there because then Phil had to return like 3 years later.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He had a different mindset then. You call him a coach killer?
Hey,
a coach killer is what LeBron did to David Blatt. That's a coach killer.
It's the same thing.
if you run a coach
No,
on,
he didn't respect David Blatt, so he got him out of there.
all right, so hold on. So he won Kobe titles before Kobe was really ready to win titles, and then Kobe made him lose the job. So you tell me what's worse.
I'm telling you what's worse because LeBron does it very surreptitiously. He does it. He acts like he doesn't want to do it. He got David Blatt out of there in the middle. Like at least Kobe was forthright with it. Like
murder is murder, right?
That's a fact. Murder is murder.
So,
but don't sit here and act like LeBron is like not culpable. He's a coach killer also.
Like he had to wave off plays on Blatt for wins.
Okay, is he a coach killer? Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no, Tez? Is he a coach killer?
Only one coach has been fired on his watch because of him.
2.
I wouldn't. Who?
LaQual just got fired, bro.
That's not because of him.
Listen, we know.
You just told me. He came in 11-0, correct? That was his only resume. Was 11-0.
Yeah.
He won how many games? 35.
Yeah.
And 37.
And 37. Yeah.
Under 500.
Yeah.
So where is the why isn't he culpable for being just a bad coach?
Is he a coach killer or not? Because
no.
Nah,
he lost the job because he.
Nah, because Kobe's not a coach killer. So you can't. If we're not saying one's a coach killer, the other's not a coach killer. Like you got people. Like come on, man, that guy that shouldn't have been coaching. Who did he coach?
Steph. You're saying who did he head coach?
Yeah,
nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody.
You can't go from coaching. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people can, but you really can't bring in these no name coaches to coach mega superstars that have these egos that have.
And that's a fair point. I agree. You cannot bring a no name coach in to coach a GOAT. I agree with that.
Didn't they win a championship the year that Black got fired?
Yeah, because Tyronn Lue was the coach, and that's the year he told him to shut the hell up. Yes.
Even so, but that goes back to the point of Tyronn Lue being
that's
guy.
One of LeBron guys, right?
That you just said.
And that's what happened when LeBron was running the show, right?
It is now.
Hold on. But did they win a championship with LeBron running the show?
Yes, they did. They did win a championship on the show. Like I said, we could just agree to disagree, and that's why we have these type of topics. I am never a fan of giving someone absolute control, and I'm not going to advocate for it. However, in this case, I will say this. The Lakers may have no choice but to give him full control because they're not going to, like you said, they're not going to be able to attract free agents if they don't. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be able to do it. So,
like I said, there's no problem with having full control, man. It's just a matter. It's just got to be, put into the right places, and it has to be checked. It has to not be the power of just like absolute dominance and anarchy. Like, oh, this is just one way and that's it.
Yeah,
they got to be hit opening and listening mind. Right. And I think LeBron is kind of that. He that type of player that, all right, well, I hear what you're saying, but I'm telling you, this is what's the best for us. And then you get situations like I think Magic would have probably been a better coach for him.
Probably.
Versus being the GM and owner or whatever.
He is a terrible coach.
No, I'm not saying
he quit coaching. He thought it was too hard, and then he started quit. He quit.
I'm not saying he would have been like oh man, he'd have been like the coach of the year. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That would have been a better coach in essence. Like he would have kind of let LeBron do what he wanted to do, and just fed off of that.
I mean,
like he'd have been the backup coach. Like it would have worked for him.
LeVar and LeBron was on the same page about Luke Walton. I don't know what else you want me to say.
They did. LeVar knew what he was talking about. I mean, Luke was not the guy to be coaching.
And he was saying that before LeBron was there.
Right. No, you're right. And like we said at the beginning, we can't sit here and advocate for what Luke Walton actually does good. You know what I mean? Sit and think about what he does good. And we can't think of anything. So,
and the only thing I would say about that, the reason I think he don't have player development, because they didn't develop any players in Golden State. Like, they didn't have to develop
nobody.
Curry, that's what he was doing before. He just had to grow into it. Clay,
he was hurt, too, so that made
Clay, Draymond was doing all that stuff in Michigan State. He was just fatter. Like, they just got him in shape. So, the strength and conditioning team deserves all the credit.
Possibly.
Yeah, like I said, that's a good point. That's a great point, actually. So, we're at the end of this now, and we just wanted to provide you with context of LeBron's first season in LA. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of giving him control of the whole team, but that seems to be the spot that the Lakers are in right now. So we will continue to monitor and watch the situation. We'll continue to watch LeBron, see how he progresses through this. I think everybody in this room is going to watch Space Jam 2 when it comes out. I think we're going to continue to watch The Shot.
Just to critique it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Just to critique it. We're going to continue to monitor LeBron James, and we're going to monitor his time in LA. So I just want to end this off, and I want to thank Chester and Tez for coming on and discussing this topic with me. They are officially contributors to the Ham and Turkey, so they'll be on the Ham and Turkey Facebook. So Chester not really on social media like that, but Tez, plug your social media in real quick, bro.
Yeah, you could hit me on Snapchat at CincoSav, just as it sounds, CINCOSAV. I believe that's it. If not, I'm gonna put it on my Snap, and I'll put the correct spelling and whatnot for that. I'll also tag you in it, so you'll see that it's up there.
Yeah, so I appreciate all my friends coming on. Like I promised y'all, I'll have more of my friends on. We'll have different topics. Hopefully the next topic will be like a music topic or something that we can do. But I just want to thank y'all for listening, and thank you for listening to the Ham and Turkey.